What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis, TWA Motorsports here, and today, look, I've let this set a couple days, no drips, no leaks. Let's get this thing back in this truck and hope that my banjo bolt's hold and we don't have a leak there. Anyway, what do we need to do here? Well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. I already put the plates on the top of the leaf springs. Obviously, this is the painted stuff that we had that we need to put into place. We've got crap everywhere, guys. But let's lift this thing up a little bit. Makes me a little nervous because there's a little more weight than I want where it's at, but it'll be okay. I think it'll be okay. All right, let's lift it up. Let's get the wheels back on this thing. And once we get the wheels back on it, then I think we could just wheel it under there, to be honest with you. And then we'll set the truck back down and we'll go from there. See how that works. I think that's what we're gonna do. Got the wheels on it. Also have jack stands out from under it. So the goal is to try to, you know, aim it kind of towards the truck, I suppose, and then just roll it under. May have to lift it up a little bit more, and then we'll set the truck kind of down on it. I'd like to keep that jack in the middle because I think that'll help me kind of position things and keep the front from diving down. The front of the pinion is going to want to immediately sink if I take the jack out from under it. So let's see if we can possibly scoot it that direction. Kind of got it where I want it. Let's see if we can drop it down at least a little bit. Okay, that'll work. Now let's see if we can slide under there, drop some of these U-bolts in place, possibly get that center pin lined up. I don't know. We're way off. We need to come over probably a good 2 or 3 inches to get that centering pin. You see how close we are on this. Bummer. Okay. Let me see if I can move the jack. I think I can just spin the jack and then we can just push it over or pull it over this direction a little bit. Get a little closer. You can see that I've got one, you know, somewhat started here. I got the plate on the bottom, so now let's see if we can get the front one where it goes. And they position a certain way. There's like an indentation up top on that plate where these set. So if I can get that one started, which I think I can, then we'll go over to the other side and duplicate that over there. But hopefully you can see the indentions and you can kind of see why I wanted to paint this. There's no good way to get to it after the fact. Let's keep trucking here. Now that I've got both the U-bolts started over there, I may have to move them. They're just loose, but you can see I jacked up a little more and I've got the centering pin, I think, pretty much lined up. So let's drop the 2 U-bolts here and see if we can get the plate on the bottom. I've got both sides into place. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slowly snug these up and I'm gonna put equal turns on each. So each quarter turn, there's a half, there's 3/4, there's 1. I'm gonna do that on all of these and making sure, okay, a couple things we wanna make sure of. It's in the plate up top where it's supposed to be. Oh, and we're not. Okay, so this rear end needs to slide forward. I have to push it a little bit to get it in the plate. There, we're in the plate now up top. I'm just doing this by feel. And then we'll hope that center pin falls into place, but we won't know until we get a little closer. So let me put a little tension on these, double check that your centering pin goes in, and then we'll move on. At this point, you can see I've got it lifted up, and this is what I was talking about up top, the plate. See how those those U-bolts set on that? And the centering pin is in. I've got it snugged up. We're not torqued, but I want to move on. So what I'm going to do next is I think I'm going to attempt to take the cap off my brake line, and then we're going to route the brake line up here. Remember the stainless line that we put on the T-fitting right here? I'm going to see if I can get it up into place and get it started. That's going to make a little bit of a mess. You can see what brake fluid does. It stripped all the paint off my stock shocks, which are going to be taken out as well. But let's see if we can get that accomplished next. So normally this clip is what holds the top of that, but this actually came with a jam nut. So there's a jam nut on the top that you put into place, and that secures this line, which I actually like a lot better because these things suck to put in and they suck to take out. I honestly could have reversed that too, it looks like, but I think we'll be okay. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to route, remember we unhooked the vent tube, which goes all the way to the front. I got to take my cap off that we used while we were painting. That guy goes right here. Probably gonna have to clean my fingers off. I've got junk all over them. Let's get that installed. I'm probably jumping the gun here, but the next thing I'm gonna do, oh, I didn't realize I painted these. Okay, well, I've got the stock ones. Okay, I've got the stock ones on the ground here. I forgot that I left these in place on the older end, but let's get these out. These should be 11 millimeters. And I'm sure we'll screw up the paint a little bit, but that's fine. And then let's just slide the drive shaft into place. Since we're under here and it's just dangling, I'm afraid the end caps are gonna fall off the U-joints here. And we'll be hunting needle bearings, so. I didn't spend a lot of time painting this area, so it's a little rough. Let's get these in and torque them to 15 foot-pounds. I decided once I got that torqued down, that's 18 by the way, not 15. We'll see if we can do a little gravity bleed here. I've got the obviously all the hoses hooked up at this point, and I thought maybe some of this would start to drain, but it may not. I probably need to drop this thing down and check out the reservoir, but I think the next thing I'm going to do while I let that go is I'm going to take the shock out, which should be a 21 millimeter up there. We're going to go ahead and get it out of play and probably toss those, to be honest with you, because I'm not going to reuse them. And we'll go ahead and put the Beltec ones in that place for now. Well, that's not working real great. You can see there's nothing in there, but I did get the shocks out. And on second thought, I may not put the new shocks in yet because I kind of want to paint that area where they go. I don't know. We'll see once we get the bed off where we want to go with that. But anyway, I need to go ahead and get our two brackets that hold our e-brake cables kind of up and out of the way. So we got one that goes right here, which we'll probably end up having to remove, and another one that goes right here, just the two 13 millimeter bolts, and then the two brackets. I think you can tell by the shape on the frame which one goes where, but we'll just have to see. I'm not super happy with the way the brakes are bleeding, but they did bleed. This one here seems a little wonky to me, but here's where we're at. I'm gonna put the wheels back on. I actually don't have to do that right now. Let me wait a second. Let's lift this thing up because now I want to get the bed off. So I'm going to show you guys what is entailed in getting the bed off of this thing. Probably going to have to fold up the bed cover, possibly even take that thing off now that I think about it. But anyway, I want to get the bed off because that's where the lowering starts. I'm going to be undoing the tail lights and taking, hopefully there should be 8 bolts in this. But let's get it up off the ground and take a look at what we need to get loose. I'm not 100% sure how easy these are going to come out. Sometimes they're, I mean, everything else has came out really well, but we've got an 18 millimeter up here in the front. Okay, this is the cab. We got one right behind it. The next one is right here. There's actually a hole. See the opening right there? And then the last one is in the very back. You can see there's a hole right in front of the bumper bracket. You can see it right there. So we're going to take all 8 of those out. So there's 4 on each side. And then aside from that, once we get those loose, actually while I'm down here, let's do this. All this stuff's gonna wanna stick to the bed. So you can see the tail light harness, that guy right there. This is for the bumper. I'm gonna unplug it because you can see it's on the bed. I'm gonna unplug this one, which is the passenger side tail light. This is the drive. I'm gonna have to use 2 hands here. Should be able to pinch this little plug. That's supposed to release it. Sometimes you gotta push it in, then pinch it and kind of wiggle it back and forth. And then I think, oh yeah, this one's gonna have to come off too. Some of these are mounted in different spots, but let's get all of these unhooked. Now we don't have to take the tail lights off. They'll just come up with the actual truck. At least I'm hoping they should. Anyway, yeah, they will. You could also take out your tail light and then route the harness under here if you wanted to go that route. But let's get those 8 bolts out, and then we'll set it back down, get the wheels on, and then we'll worry about getting the gas tank undone, because it should be the ground that you see right here. There's a ground strap on that thing, but it's actually on the piece of plastic and the outer metal. So once we undo all the bolts in here, these guys, then that will actually stay on the truck. So the hope here is to get all this done, all these bolts out, and then set the truck back down with the wheels on, turn it around. Obviously I'm gonna have to move some stuff, pull it out, and then back it into the lift area and use the lift to lift the bed off is what I'm hoping. See, we got it set back down. So now we're gonna use a clip removal tool to pull this clip out, or at least I thought we were. Probably should have used a different tool. There we go. This obviously has been painted on before. You can see by the paint on that. But look, not a show truck. And then these are T30s up there. Get one of those out. Get the other one out. We should be ready to rock here. So here's what we're gonna do. Yeah, everything's loose. Let's set these over there. Let's see if I can back this thing up. Now remember, I don't have any shocks on it, so it may be kind of bouncy. I chose not to put those on yet. Let's see if we can at least maneuver it back. And like I said, I'll probably have to take the cover off in order to make this happen, but I'm gonna see if, I'm hoping my lift will go high enough to clear this. I'm not 100% sure that it will, to be honest with you. I'm gonna have to strap it very, very close, I think, to the truck. We'll see. Well, just a couple Austin power moves later, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Had Cam come over to make sure I wasn't close to the Trans Am. I'm a little further over, but look, we're just lifting a bed, so it's not that imperative. It is close though. I'll be glad when this guy's running, so I can be moving it in and out and not have this issue. But I don't know, guys. It's going to be very, very close to get. Basically, what I need is I really want to be able to pull this thing back out, and I've got a pretty good shot at pulling it out once I get the bed off. It's just, will that lift go high enough for the bottom side of the bed to clear the wheels? Okay, we got to clear this front side as we're rolling out. Let's see what we can do. I'm going to fold the cover up. We'll see if we can do it with just the cover folded. If not, I'm going to take this cover off anyway. That's been for sale for a while. I just haven't sold it. We may just go that route. What could go wrong, right? Let's give it a shot. Got it strapped with the hooks in all 4 corners. Let's give it a bump. Moving forward a little bit. I'll tell you what I may do. I may put the truck in neutral and roll it forward so the bed's not scraping as it comes up. But I mean, I guess the other thing I could do is maybe I could tighten up these rear straps. The problem is it's so close. And you can see on this side, I didn't have the greatest of straps. So it's not stellar. But I think, I don't know how high this thing goes up until it's done. Let's put the truck in neutral, roll it forward just a hair. All right, I moved the truck up a little. Are we gonna get lucky and it go high enough? Woo! Not touching. I think we're high enough. I gotta get this to clear here, as you can see. Get that underneath. Oh, baby. I think it's high enough right now where I can pull that thing out. I might go a couple more clicks. We're not even to the top here. Oh, what just happened? Oh, we are to the top. Okay. Well, there you have it. Let's, I've got the truck in neutral. Let's see if we can just roll it out. Cam, how am I on the Trans Am over there? Getting close. Am I going to clear it? If I go straight, will I clear it? Probably not. That's a good sign, guys. It's close. Like, I need to stop if it's close. I think
5 inches away.
5 inches, guys. Let's see what Cam thinks 5 inches is. Yeah, it's probably 8. 8's close to 5 though. I think we're good. I think I can start it up, and I think I can just pull this thing over and kind of out of the way. Baby, got that sucker off there. You guys realize how much easier it is to like do stuff under the bed when the bed's off, as opposed to like reaching up over your head. But I think we'll do some power washing, obviously. I may even do some painting on this frame, but for now, I primarily want to focus on the areas that I want to work on as far as getting the drop in, which means we're going to have to cut these rivets. You see this rivet here, here, here. We've got another one down here. We'll probably have to take loose the, I didn't hook up my e-brake. You can see it's kind of dangling down there because I knew we were going to have to probably take it loose. But yeah, I think that we can maybe pull this thing outside and maybe start cutting some rivets. What I would like to do is, since the new one's going to bolt on, I've got to get some bolts that are the right size, and probably go ahead and take the bump stops loose. Yeah, got a lot of power washing to do all day. Got it outside, and the only reason I got it outside is I hate grinding around nice stuff, guys. I'm probably pretty muffled because I have protection on my head. But here's what I like to do on these. I like to cut the rivets at least once. Sometimes if I could put an X in them, that's great, but I don't have a lot of room to do that here. But what that makes life easier for you is when you're using a chisel to chisel those guys out of the way. Now this one right here will be, I guess that won't be too bad. I might zip tie this up or something. But like I said, I think I'll have to take my 13s out to get to that bottom one. Ooh, that bottom one right there is going to be fun also. Ooh-wee. Okay, let's just focus on cutting these. I'm going to have Cam film me here. Here, Cam, hold this. I'll start on that middle one. Point it at this right here, bud. Come over here. Get a little closer. I think the sparks will go down. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm just cutting. I'm going to cut an X. Come closer. Come closer. I'm cutting an X in this if I can get it to go the other way without getting a ton into this. Now we're replacing this, so it's not a huge deal, but that's kind of the goal here. Some you can reach better than others. You can see I put like 3 slits there, but now I've moved on to my air hammer, and I'm not gonna record this part because it's ridiculously loud. But what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna try to pop that head of that rivet off. Okay. That's why we cut them. It makes your life a lot easier. Now this one down here I couldn't get a very good cut on, so it's going to be a pain. But I may have to sharpen this a couple times. It's somewhat sharp now. That's the best way to do this. And then once we get the head knocked off, we can get a different end, like a blunt end, and push the rivet all the way through. I don't want to do all these right now because obviously we've got the suspension, but I just kind of want to show you what one looks like once I get it knocked off. Now once you get the heads knocked off, like what I was talking about, it really, man, if you can cut an X or multiple slits in it, it is way easier. I've been working on these over here that I didn't get as good of cuts on, and I'm gonna have to go back and just bite the bullet, move these. It's not a big deal, and get a better cut on these guys. May even get a short one or like a smaller cutoff wheel that I can get in and get at least maybe 1 or 2 cuts, because these things came out super easy. But watch what happens here. I've got a different end. We're just gonna push this rivet through. That's it. I don't even know where it went. I heard it hit the rock somewhere. Same thing here. That's it. That's all we got to do. But we've got to do that 6 times on each side. We've got 3 rivets here and 3 rivets here. At this point, I'm going to stop until I can move the Tahoe out, get some like jack stands or something under the front of those leaf springs, because I'm afraid if I go ahead and knock the rest of these out, there's only 2 on each side now. I went ahead and did the other side, and I'm afraid if I knock them out that spring's going to shoot down. I know it will, but I don't want that to happen. So in the next video, guys, we're going to tackle the rest of this, getting the lowering shackles into place, getting them bolted on. And what I may do is I may actually take this one off and then do a little painting and put the new one back on. I may even knock, so there's another set of rivets on this bottom panel here, so you can see this. Now, we're not going to be using that because what basically this is doing is it's raising this pocket. We're putting a new pocket in that's a little higher. And so because of that, we don't really need that lower portion, and I have no plans of putting this back to stock. So what I may do is just cut the rivets on the top side over there and drive them through, and the same thing over here. But we'll just have to see in the next video. I would also like I said, to power wash this thing, get this all cleaned up, and possibly do that POR 15 on the frame, possibly even under this before we go back together. So we'll just have to see in the next video. But if you guys are liking the progress on the shop truck, it's kind of cool to see a 2.4 drop on the channel, or at least part of a 2.4 drop, because I've never done one of those, at least on the channel. I am not generally one that does that, but this truck's going to be used, and I just don't want it super low where we can't get into parking lots and places where we're going to take it. And but anyway, we got the rear end in. We got the new brakes on. Cam helped me bleed the brakes. Cohen came out and helped him finish that up. And so definitely looks a lot better. In the wheel there, I've only got 4 lug nuts on, but dual piston calipers, it's going to stop way better. It's for sure going to look a lot better than the nasty ones. We're going to be upgrading the fronts at some point too. But if you guys are enjoying this, please, like always, smash that thumbs up button. Guys, if you are not subscribed, go down, hit that subscribe. Of course, like always, ring that bell notification. That will notify you every single time we drop a new video on this or anything else. Stay tuned to see what we work on next.